13 long as some were living in dark. You say you go bring illumination back. And when for some it was blood and tears, you presented yourself as the heart who cares. So it fade away till it was too late. And with the ex they give the heart the blessing. But now some people vow that it seems as though the heart stopped beating. Some people believe that all you didn't have a heart from the start. But these people are in the dark. They do not understand that in fact. The man on the hill in St. Patrick's know that. He said, man, you refuse to give the contract. But when all your campaign was in action, he yellow up the whole junction. And that the green he couldn't get a hold on. The yellowness was too vibrant and too strong. But at him as they drag him in the dust, now all you commit is even worse. Oh, what about the old queen in the back of St. Andrews? She used to buzz out the wind, now she feels she lose. She house used to fool her yellow ancestries. People used to say she have yellow disease. Now you take she pension and water, cause she have some son in Canada. Now when the mountain fall, she go in by the post office as usual. Cause she don't want green people know she ain't getting that money no more. Are you ready have heart? Oh, oh, now she is disappointed in you.
I want to say a pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
And I'm angry too.
How are we doing this afternoon for another wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Monday?
You have to fix up things like that. Otherwise,
I hope each and every one of you guys are doing fine today. It is Monday, as I aforementioned, the start of another week. While we're going through this, I want to go through the what's happening information.
the heart of gold
Green screen promotion
would never seem
on the 27th of July presents
Right.
50 Shades Darker.
it is
That's about the kayak princess,
one day. Now the
DJ Fishman, DJ Smiley,
for you,
and MC Big Joe International.
the hell the heart went. They found
Regular tickets are only $85, VIP $300.
misery.
Check out Chuck in St. George's right now,
Stop some
Spice Mobile in St. Andrew,
ridiculous in this.
and Sam in Guava, alright?
Why some people feel sure if you had a heart, it is there no more.
The St. Patrick's West Branch presents
The little,
Spicy Grenadian.
you know
The menu is Tiny Log, Cocoa Tea, Bush Tea,
the
Bakes and Saltfish, Fried Fish,
best bet.
Cocoa, Bakes and Smokery,
Now we got
Provision,
about the program.
$10 per box, alright?
Miss him.
That will be on Saturday the 5th.
You he lose all his
Don't miss out, starting from 6 a.m.
bloods and
That would be at the Sateers bus terminal, alright?
oh, what about the brother who won't dance with CCC? To be laugh you care for his family. When you sing change, he dance to.
This Friday
Knowing that
will be the After Work Live,
soon as you come, you take that decision.
so you guys can get prepared for this one also.
From
After Work Live will be happening this Friday. That will be at the headquarters of the New National Party.
now he wonders why was I so sad. Look how I go and vote out me walk. Well, some days he feels like giving up. He cannot put food in his family pot.
Good day to the persons on my Facebook and YouTube page.
No, we
If this is your first time,
if the thing
come on in. Feel free to join another class in session program
will say
right here
coming back.
for another wonderful day, alright?
You really have heart. Hey, hey.
So definitely we will take this one down. Yeah, them fellas asking for another Tom, ladies and gentlemen. Them fellas really have heart. Yeah? Them fellas want to know that but we telling them they real have heart. Go ahead right now to the persons on Facebook. You can go ahead right now and share the link. The persons on YouTube, you guys can do accordingly, all right? We're still asking persons if you're interested in being a part of the class in session or the classroom Facebook WhatsApp page or group. You definitely can be a part of. Just simply send me your number via the number that is going across the screen. That's 418-3702. Or you can reach out to me on Facebook via Facebook Messenger. Just drop your number and you will be part of the class in session Facebook page. Yes, so you guys can be a part of this. Let's start this evening by just extending some condolences. First off, I would like to send condolences to Brother Dabrio, who would have lost his sister, I think, yes, last evening. So we want to extend the condolences to Brother Dabrio, the caretaker for the St. John's seat. Yeah, we want to extend condolences to Amanda Japal. Yes, over the weekend she would have lost two very close persons. Well, over the weekend and today, yes, she had the close friend that was involved in the stabbing incident in Pomrose. And today, for those of you guys who have seen the pictures going around with the young guy Shem, Build the Vibes, he too would have lost his life. So we want to extend that bit of sympathy to her. But somewhere deep in the core of my heart, I want to extend a heartfelt condolences to Cathy and Joseph here in Victoria in St. Mark's. Should have lost her daughter yesterday, Kamisha and I, who would have gone through our entire secondary school together from Form 1 to Form 5. We were pathfinders at the Victoria Seventh-day Adventist Church. We were Sabbath school goers, and her mom and I was best of friends. Yeah, so Kamisha definitely was a deep friend to me. And I know definitely for her mom, Katian, it is not going to be an easy one. I keep saying I can't, and I try to tell people, you know, I can't tell how you feel. I've never lost a daughter, I've never lost a son. So my only extent to you and the entire family right now is, you know, God's protections, God's blessings. Grieve in whatever way that you can. Yes. Find peace in the comfort of his bosom. And the day is going to come where her memory is going to make you smile more than tear. Yes. You were there for me during the passing of my mom. That's Katian, and I'm definitely going to be there for you in whatever way, shape, or form. Yes, I pray that the entire Joseph and Bishop family of Victoria in St. Mark's do find comfort in the Lord. For those of you guys who are from Victoria here, you know what Katian means to the new National Party in St. Mark's. Yes, her dedication to fundraiser and whatever it is that we have, Katian is always the person that we can call on. And in a time like this, she needs us more than anything else. And so we want to extend a heartfelt condolence, yes, to the entire family. Yes? So I just see somebody would have sent the information. So you will be part of the WhatsApp group. So feel free, ladies and gentlemen, to be part of the WhatsApp group. Yes? We also want to extend congratulations that we did last week, just to reiterate. We want to extend congratulations to the persons who were successful in the CPEA exams. Yes, the young men and young women of this nation who were successful in the CPEA exam, we want to extend from the classroom. Last week I would have extended it from the New National Party, but I want to do so today from the class in session program. I want to extend a heartfelt congratulations to you guys. Yes, and sometimes in life, you see, when you set the bar at a standard, it is difficult to break. Yes, and so we want to extend a heartfelt one. I mean, Dr. Modest would have pulled one from the bag that even the government can can phantom to understand. But Dr. Clarice Modest Cowing, your dedication Your commitment to the people of St. Mark's is always overwhelming. And for the past graduations that you have attended up at Victoria, we have seen that exemplary behavior. Yes, Dr. Modest, in our own space and capacity as the representative, has donated thus far 40 tablets to the successful graduates at the Benin Government School. Can you imagine this? Yes? And based on conversations with her, it seems like it is something that she wants to do with all the schools in St. Mark's. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're on the Facebook page, you're on YouTube, I want you to just share some likes right now for Dr. Modest. Yes? Exemplary woman, her dedication to what she does. I mean, it is just amazing. The fact of the matter is, it is something that not much persons knew about. Yes, it is not something that much persons knew about. And so, Dr. Modest, take a bow. And we have seen it been happening with many of our persons within the NNP. Brother Nimrod would have made a nice contribution to the Grenada Boys Secondary School also. And you have seen Sister Kate being part of the graduation and playing an integral part with the graduates and so on. And ladies and gentlemen, let me say something to you. If you have never felt the effect of the new National Party from since the past, okay, well, look at the information well, I haven't had that photo as yet, so, and the information as yet. So here Gloria Bonaparte saying she gave 34 today to the Samaritan Presbyterian School. So after giving 40 at the Benin Government School, today she gave 34 at the Samaritan Presbyterian School. Dr. Modest, you are a legend. Yeah? This is not governance while in office. Yeah? This is not all you say, no, she's using government money. Yeah? This is in our own personal capacity, Dr. Modest. So we had what? 74 tablets donated to the graduates at the primary school level in St. Mark's. If that is not what you call progress and work being done as a representative, and mind you, she sits in the seat as an opposition member. Yeah? She's a parliamentarian, but she sits on the opposition side of the table. Yeah? But what we have seen in the past few days, yeah, I want you to go in the comment section, give me some green and scenes of green hearts. Give me more of that, and give Dr. Modest more of that, and give the new National Party more of that, because we're not a party of talk. Yeah? See them fellas and them simply going out. Yes? You guys are going out of your way. I mean, you have a stadium that has been refurbished. I don't want to say this is the start of my conversation today, but it drops my mind that these guys are opening, not opening, you know, these guys and them are turning soil. Yeah? Sod turning. Sod turning, ladies and gentlemen. Can you imagine that these guys have reached the point where I want to believe it's crazy, they're crazy, you know. I feel it's total madness. Because these guys and them are turning sod. And they sending out big invitations. Yeah? They are going to simply refurbish areas and they're doing big handing over. How you could hand over something that has been built? How are you handing over something that have already been built? These guys and them so excited within themselves. And it's self-proclamations, eh? It is self-proclamations. Because I cannot understand how are you telling me that, and I want to read something for you guys today, ladies. I want to read something for you guys. Let me read something for you guys so you guys could understand what I'm coming across with. Listen this, and I want to take my time and read it. Hear this and listen this. Another milestone achievement in St. Andrews, Notice. I get tired of this, sorry. Another milestone achievement for the NDC in St. Andrews Northeast. Ladies and gentlemen, just go in the comment section. Tell me what you believe is the achievement. Go in the comment section. Tell me what you believe when you hear a heading like that. What comes to mind? Yeah, a political organization or an administration in office, and they're stating, somebody posted, a member of the party posted, another milestone achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, here is what is the achievement, the milestone achievement. One of the biggest challenges was finding a suitable, affordable space for the office. We're pleased to have found such a space. We thank the owner for agreeing to rent us. Last Saturday, supported by chairpersons of the party and going on and on and on and on and on and on, we opened our office in Tivoli. He says, I appreciate the donations for our supporters in the diaspora, our supporters from the other constituencies, our supporters in St. Andrews Northeast, the National Executive Council of the NDC, and the hard-working PD leaders of and the rest of the St. Andrews Northeast. Thanks to all who support, bless, and our mission a better service. So, ladies and gentlemen, the National Democratic Congress terms the opening of a party office as a milestone achievement. Imagine this. Imagine this. Let me tell you something. And for those of us who have been here long are long enough. The new National Party constructed a national stadium of international standard. Tell me, when was the confettis and the fireworks in Grenada done? The new National Party built a bus terminal, a brand new bus terminal from scratch. Tell me, when was the confetti done? The new National Party built a tourism sector and area. Yeah? The cruise ship terminal. Tell me, when was the confetti done? The new National Party built the botanical gardens from scratch. Tell me, when was the confetti and fireworks done? Tell me. Tell me, when was done confettis done? The Grenville bus terminal was done. Tell me, when was the confetti and the milestone achievement posted by the new National Party? Another wing of the General Hospital was built. Tell me, when was the confetti and fireworks done? When? We saw in excess of how much? 3 malls. Esplanade Mall, Bruce Street Mall. All those was done under the new National Party. Tell me, when was the confettis done? Huh? The rebuilding of different parks in Grenada. Yeah? Digging up park and fix back park. Lighting of park. When was the confettis done? Feathers going and turn sword in Pity Matnik, and they're giving out invitation. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this? And they're opening an office of the National Democratic Congress constituency, and that is a milestone achievement. Grenadians, are you hearing this? This is a milestone achievement for our government after 3 years, the opening of an office. And they have invited so many persons. And ladies and gentlemen, while the new National Party is now coming out from inside of offices, they're starting to go inside their own. We sat in the offices from year 1, and we were constructing as to our way forward. By year 2, We started to make decisions as a political organization, whether or not our old leader stays, whether or not we make transformation to different caretakers and candidates and so on. And we did that through processes. And that took us just about a year, 2 years, 2.5 years. And now, hitting into year 3, we have done all the groundwork. We have spoken to persons. We have started having meetings with individuals. And our bodies and our constituencies are ready, checking lists, voters list, and we are now on the ground, out of offices. We leave office. So now that you have seen our brother Dabrio and Sister Kate and all the others, while we now have left offices, they just start to open. Can you imagine this? This is the political organization they stated is done and finished with. That is the NNP. They stated that it's done and finished with. But they're just opening offices. We passed office stage. We gone past office stage, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah? NNP don't want to go in office again. We took the time off, ladies and gentlemen, to start in office and construct and become and build better, so that we can get ready for our next general election. While these people and them, they making mawet, talking about achievement. After we finish strategized, they're just ready to open office. They throw that little sword, they hand over, they feel they basically refurbish the National Stadium, and they have big handing over ceremony. So while we know on the ground, they're just going in office. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the NDC for you. But ladies and gentlemen, there is an utter silence in Grenada. But all you know me, I like to bring everything to the light. Because it's a conversation that is not being heard throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and PD Martinique in the volume that many expect it to be. Now, Dr. Mitchell and the New National Party would have respected Grenadians when they wanted to interfere with certain constitutional rules based on the Schedule 3 of the Constitution of Grenada. And so with that, they did a referendum. Matter of fact, they did 2 referendums. Because it was a political organization, or it is a political organization, that respects the voice of its people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me say to you, the National Democratic Congress intend to make certain changes to a constitutional drafting in Grenada when it comes to the allegiance of the state. And they want to do it without coming to the people and seek the people's opinion on that matter. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say to you, when a political party or an administration seek to trample on your constitutional rights without seeking redress or consultation from the state, it rings a bell of what we remembered as revolutionary movements. I am doing what I damn well please. So let me just read. This one might be a little bit lengthy, but I'll try to be as slow and as brief as possible. Constitutional draft bill runs into trouble. And this is an excerpt from the New Today. Yeah? They're against us, but it's sometimes when we jam them against the wall, they just have to come out, you know. Yeah? Attorney General Claudia Joseph has circulated the bill among lawyers. They would have given their redress on it. And let me read from what he said. One says, no backdoting. Go and talk to the people. Go to them and tell them that you want to tamper with the document. Tell them that. Tell them why. Explain to them. You ain't tell the people none of that. You did not campaign on that. Yes? Are you majoring in minor? A top Caribbean lawyer expert has described as nothing but stupidness and meaningless as a draft bill now is in circulation by the Deacon-led administration, yes, to go after Grenada's constitution. In an interview, an exclusive interview with the New Today, the legal luminary said the change being proposed can be meaningful if the plan is to make the country become a republic, and this cannot be done by the proposed change. Ladies and gentlemen, very early in the conversation, we told you guys that one of the things that Mr. Deacon Mitchell and his administration have in the back of their mind was to make Grenada, quote-unquote, republic. The draft bill is no improvement to our democracy. Nothing. It amounts to zero. He said about the document said by the Attorney General, Senator Claudette Joseph, to members of the Grenada Bar Association for their input. The draft seeks to remove, and listen to me now, the draft seeks to remove pledging allegiance to His Majesty King Charles, and instead to Grenada. According to the Caribbean constitutional expert, on the face of it, the amendment being proposed does not require the holding of a referendum, but it is important to go back to the people to hear from them when you are tampering with the ultimate document. He urged the 3-year-old NDC administration to shy away from what he called this backdoor kind of tampering with Grenada's constitution, because it currently enjoys a majority in the parliament. Stating that constitutional changes must be meaningful, the legal luminary said that it must be inclusive and must be subjected to decisions and debate involving people and not something coming out from an office of a legal person. Several months ago, the New Today had picked up on information that the island renowned constitutional expert, Dr. Francis Alexis, had an audience with the Prime Minister when this amendment issue was discussed. Dr. Alexis KC, former Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, along with another King's Counsel, Ruggles Ferguson, had spearheaded the 2 failed referenda under the former Keith Mitchell administration to change the constitution. The region legal expert cautioned the NDC government to understand that any interference with the Grenada constitution is never a good political or politics, and that the ruling should be made instead to be concentrated on the execution of its 2022 campaign platform. At this point, he recalled the former Prime Minister in an election a few months later. He called a referendum to change the Grenada constitution and got a heavy beating from the electorates. You, the NDC, never campaigned on that. You never tell the people that you're going to interfere with the document. You never tell people that you're going to do that. If you want to gain the people's trust or the people to trust you, you can be doing that. He said, no backdoor stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not heard clearly, they are wanting to make changes to the constitution of the state. And let me say to you, the backfiring is not coming from the NNP just as yet, because the document has not reached the NNP as yet. Again, they go say it's the NNP that fighting it down. But it has been sent to the legal or the bar to have their own on it. And let me take one interview that had happened already.
The government of Grenada is moving to amend the nation's constitution, with a bill expected to be presented in Parliament next month. Among the proposed changes is a revision to the Oath of Allegiance. The announcement was made during the tabling of a draft bill, the Constitution Oath of Allegiance Amendment No. 1 Act 2025, during the July sitting of the House of Representatives. Criminal defense attorney Anselm Clouden weighed in on this development in an interview with MTV News.
The national anthem speaks in some countries of the will of the people and the allegiance to the country, and nothing's wrong with that. But to affect a change in the oath of allegiance, you literally render the Governor General's position redundant, because she doesn't represent Grenada. She represents the head of state of Grenada, who is the king.
Clouden says in order for the government to change the Oath of Allegiance, a constitutional referendum must be held.
To move from this provision, section Schedule 3 of the Constitution, to say you say oath of allegiance to Grenada, it must require a constitutional referendum. Because this is not a simple amendment. And if you look at 39, this will be called by 39. Sections 20 will be called by 39. And therefore, it is my thinking, I don't have to be right, but it just makes sense to me, that if you want to go to change the oath of allegiance, you have to have a referendum. I don't see how else you can do it legitimately, having regard to the tenure of the Constitution itself.
The bill proposes to amend Section 37, Schedule 3 of the 1973 Constitution Order by replacing the phrase His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs and successors with simply Grenada. For MTV News, Troy Gill.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who doesn't understand yet the whole thing behind all of this, and it may sound a little bit off for you. As of present, the oath of allegiance speaks to I, and I'm using me, Prince James, do swear, or I do solemnly affirm, that I faithfully bear true allegiance of His Majesty King Charles II, or the third in this case, his heirs and successors according to law. This is the present allegiance of the state. They are now wanting the allegiance to sound like this. I, Prince James, do swear, or I do solemnly affirm, that I firmly bear allegiance to Grenada. That's it. So we're moving away from that being said to simply saying, I pledge allegiance to Grenada. Ladies and gentlemen, listen the twist to this story. It now means that there are so many other things within the state that bears some form of representation through His Majesty, starting with the Governor General. So if it means that I no longer need to say or affirm to that specific noting, I need not to say that anymore. As Mr. Clouden clearly put it, it means that the position of the the Governor General does not make any sense anymore. Because I no longer, and she's representing, not Grenada, she's representing His Majesty. Now, ladies and gentlemen, This is a conversation of knowledge, not one to castigate. But the fact is, the government does not need to do a referendum for this. Understand that. A referendum is not mandated. But out of good faith, when you are going to trouble something of such a tentative nature, and many persons may say, yeah, time for us to get rid of the king and the queen and all kind of sorts of foolishness. And they are not going to see the implications behind this. Ladies and gentlemen, has Grenada reached to our dependent stage that we can now stand on our very own? We just had a bad report from our financial status for the first half of the year. Imagine this. And instead of concentrating on economical boosting, you are focused on changing some petty bit of information. And as the gentleperson said it does not do any good to state. It does not do any good to state. What productive and how productive is that going to be to state? You didn't campaign on that. The last thing I know, the National Democratic Congress had a victory from the past failed referendums. That was a big victory for them. So you did not campaign on this. But here you are now wanting to interfere with the constitution of the state. And as Mr. Clauden says, he's not against it. Maybe persons may not be. If you ask me my opinion, my question to pose will be, what are its repercussions? What are its repercussions? Was that the reason for visiting all the other places in order to get a little blind? That if we come away from the sovereignty of the United Kingdom, that they are not going to assist us? Is that what you're seeing? Leave him or leave them for that? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a tentative conversation. When you're doing that, my next question would be, what would become, for want of a better word, be the position of the Governor General? If we are now making an allegiance or swaying to just the country, what becomes the position of the Governor General of the state? Because we need no more for she to represent the king. So what becomes of her position? That is my next question. What is the relevance of her position thereafter? Yeah? So when you have a conversation of such tentative nature, and we just had celebrated 3 years with them, and you did not even come to the people and say, this is what you have had, a series of sit-down. You have a weekly event, or I think every week he does have this sit-down talk. Yeah? And you did not even hint it to the nation. You know what? This is what we intend to do. You understand the manner in which these people are governing the state? At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at what is happening, from every end of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, the call for consultation is echoing more and more. Meet with us. Talk with us. Let us hear what you have to say. Get our opinion. Look at the town hall meetings. Look at the town hall meetings. What are the tractions that have been happening in these meetings? Be honest. Because you're simply going with information to give them, whether it be lie, propaganda, My thing is this. The Build Back Better project. Yeah? You stated that, I believe within St. Mark's and St. Patrick's, they promised 200 houses. I am from St. Mark's. St. Mark's is a small place, ladies and gentlemen. It don't big. If a man in Victoria calls to two. It don't big. My thing, with all the photos that have been going around, can somebody show me 10 houses? We're tomorrow marks 1 year of Hurricane Beryl. Please, show me 10 houses built in the St. Mark's, St. Patrick's area. Please. I'm begging you. The Build Back Better houses, they are building pillars with blocks. They put up 2 blocks, they make something like a shape, and that's the Build Back Better houses. Somebody posted yesterday, somebody is sleeping better. Yeah? Somebody is sleeping better tonight. Please indicate to me, where are these houses being built? Who's asking the tough questions? Who's asking the tough questions? Yeah? They made it a headline as it relates to regularization. I believe this is one of Grenada's biggest scam, this regularization conversation. But I'm talking about it today because I want all you to know about it today. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact of the matter is, there have been so many issues surrounding this regularization conversation, and it's not NNP that's talking about it. I would like to say that. I wish every time I come on the program, I could say that every day, every day, every day. NNP is not talking about it. The same people who rejoiced with them and said they are the greatest government that ever passed, and look at what they do and look at what they keep doing for the people of Grenada and the public servants of Grenada. When pressure take out on them, because you see, the thing about it, it doesn't affect them personally. Eh? So when you get it, when they get a chance to talk, they're talking. But when the teachers go back to them, they say, listen to me, Mr. Man, that's not what we tell you. Say what we tell you. And hear what they tell you.
More than 200 teachers are still awaiting confirmation of their appointments, and President of the Grenada Union of Teachers, Jude Bartholomew, is demanding answers. According to Bartholomew, the second group of teachers were expected to be regularized, but the Public Service Commission is now reportedly raising issues that could leave over 40 teachers off the list.
They fail to do what they have to do to regularize the teachers. So which means that if you're in the system 14 years, and 12 years ago you should be regularized. It means it is unfair and unfortunate that when you come to be regularized now, after 12 or 14 years in the system, that you're not being duly compensated and given all what is due to you. But at the same time is a balance, because government will always say, although that's their fault, government is continuum.
Bartholomew insists that these teachers have been working diligently and deserve to be treated with fairness and respect.
Government, whether you owe the bank 50 years, the bank don't want to hear about how long or what thing you have to pay, what you have to pay. When you owe tax, when the teachers and public officers and workers owe the government in taxes, you have to pay for what you have to pay. It's only on the government side, in the sense now they will say, well, they don't have the money. And so it's give and take on your balance. But it doesn't mean to say that that is an injustice. The length of time and the monies that only when workers really and truly have to get what is due to them, you always hear that government can meet the end or the bargain. And so we're saying it's unfair and unfortunate. And to add insult to injury, in one sense, the union itself signed something where the teachers could receive just 2 increments. So it compounds the problem.
He says,
ladies and gentlemen, for information's sake, this is not a member of the new National Party. Don't go and say that is NNP that they behind regularization. All you like to say that. This is a man, when he started, he said he had too much of NNP working in the Ministry of Education. Is what he said. So now the PSC is denying a few teachers. I wonder who in the Ministry of Education or who in PSC know that is the NNP that denying them. See, the talk does come back and haunt them. The talk does come back and haunt them. The last time, I remember bringing up the conversation of the school feeding program and how many persons are having grievances with the school feeding program. A man tell me, by your lie, that is not true. Again, he said, NNP make it up. He said, NNP make it up. NNP make up about children don't getting school feeding and government. When we say government don't give in and they complaining, they say NNP again. All what good is us. But my dear brother, I'm hoping that you're listening because I'm playing a clip, not from the NNP. As the gentleman said, after speaking to different schools, unquote. Listen yourself.
This statement came following questions raised, complaints made, and actions taken by the schools to cease the program. The program is a government initiative and in recent years has come under the microscope as non-functional in some schools. The president of the Grenada Union of Teachers, Jude Bartholomew, says it is a good program which minimizes daily costs for both parents and teachers.
Now, let me say that the lunch program is a good program. The intention of the government is to ensure, so well intent and well intended. So I want you to...
Now let me stick it there. Remember a while ago he said government is continuum? Listen in this conversation how much he tried to make this government seems as they are the one who initiated the school feeding program. I'm guessing that he's speaking about the free part. Yeah? But listen how, at this stage, government is no more continuum because it's a good initiative, but he's giving that kudos. But if you hear him speak, he's not sounding as if he's giving the government before. He's giving this government the praise.
Let me clearly, right? Well intent, well intended. And for that aspect, children, when you have that program, then there is no excuse for a parent to say, well, their children can't come to school or child because they don't have lunch. And so if you're hungry in a classroom, you can't get food to it, then you cannot learn effectively. And so that is a good thing. It is really and truly saving the parents. So what the government shows is that basically every child should have an equal right to education and get equal opportunity. So there is no more excuse a parent could say that you come in, I can't send my child to school. Harry can't come today because he didn't have lunch.
The program, well intended, but according to the president, it needs to be properly structured in order to be effectively executed. The teaching faculties, he says, are complaining about the program's structure.
They are complaining, and where the problem is that we find there is a weakness there. Probably what the government should do before announcing the program is to meet with teachers, meet with principals.
Get the word there? Consultation. He maybe don't know it. So let me help him. You remember I mentioned it earlier on? It is important that government start consulting. Meet with the people.
Meet with the GUT. The union is not the enemy of the state. And so probably there might be something that you did not see. And the union, the teachers might have been able to say to you, do it that way. To don't have a lunch, a school feeding program for everybody. Because if you have it for everybody, there are some persons who are already not dependent on the school feeding program. So what the government has done, although it is well intended, is put some pressure on schools.
Bartholomew says the government has not been contributing the resources in a timely manner.
Remember we said so? That government is not giving in a timely manner. I remember when we spoke about it a little bit after Hurricane Beryl, one of the excuses they gave was that there was a lot of damages done to products around the state. So provisions and so on, it was difficult to get. Before, when I was preparing, I was trying to get the clip, but my hand didn't fall on it. But I remember either somebody from the Food and Nutrition Council did speak and said that was one of the issues that they were having. That is why government was not being able to assist with the, the products needed for the program. But let me say to you, behind me house, I get 2 bunch of fig just the other day. Behind my house. And I didn't clean the bunches, it just come. So let's listen to what they might say that is the cause of the problem.
To the schools.
Now the problem is where schools are saying that the government are not paying the monies on time. Months upon months, and they cannot get the check. And so where the school getting that money now? Where is the government cut down a lot of things for registration, a lot of things like that, so you can't get the money that you used to take to buy something else. Remember the school feeding program before? It used to be $1,
Ladies and gentlemen, watch me. Let me tell all you something. By the next election, fellas like these fellas are the ones that are going to cause us to go back in power. Because they are saying the things that we would have said. When members of the opposition side stood in parliament and they said that said thing, why make it free? Why cut so much? Why cut so much? I remember Miss Pierre standing and speak on it. Sister Kate touched on it a little while. When they talk about making it free, schools started to say, listen to me, this what we like a pankwai, we could have take the $1, children give $5, $1 a day, you might make a little $200-300 from the $1, based on the amount of children on the program. By the end of the week, you have $500. Yeah? You have my $300-400. By the end of the month, you can put it aside. So if government don't send, you could always call somebody and say, listen to me, drop us a 200 fig, drop us some blogger, and we will pay you. You don't have to wait on a check from government. Now government is not doing what they have to do. These are the fellas that are going to speak and say all the things that we said. All what NNP is being, I would have said in different platforms and forums. This is what is happening now. We said those things. Decision making needs consultation. You can make everything free because all they're thinking about is a vote next election. In all my years, the other day I hear they say they postpone the start of travel. Where you ever hear that happening, Grenada? They had to study Monday, but they tell them study Wednesday. Where you ever hear that happen? These people are making some harsh decisions that are putting them belly crossway. When we said to them, leave the dollar was effective. At the end of every day, if you collect $150, at the end of the week, do the maths. At the end of the month, do the maths. Even if you're missing a pound or 2 pounds of flour, you can take it out from the savings of the school feeding program. And that's why government, that is why the experienced bunch of people we had there made the decision, $1. $1. Because government know there are times where schools might have to do it on their own. You in a place where you're cooking food and every day you have to give free food. As opposed to you tell a man, give $5 for a plate of food every day. And see how effective that is. But hear them now. Dr. Mitchell already didn't like playing good, just had to get pressure.
So that was a kind of savings. What schools used to do, principals and teachers, they had to hold their head. Because things not coming, the fish and the chicken and the rice and the different things not coming regularly in school.
Some schools, Bartholomew says, cannot facilitate the program as they do not have the necessities.
And what the government should have done, there isn't really the infrastructure for this big program. Some schools don't really have the fridge or the stove or the storage area facilities and those things. So I think the program...
My question is, where were they before? How they had it before? Ask Andy Williams. Ask Andy Williams the program that he was a part of, where he was responsible for going and distribute items in school. Ask him where they used to store it. Papi Show. Let me tell you something. I'm certain that in some school feeding program, the school feeding program would have gotten schools to even buy a stove. First, they're making money in the little dollar. The little $1 plus government subventions. So government giving them the little something and they could have make it on their own. Schools had the opportunity to even buy their own stove. That little dollar you're watching there. Schools you could have buy a little fridge. Yes. So what you talking about storage? How all schools had it before? Where were they storing it before? Ask them where they used to store it before. How all of a sudden it does storage? Papi Show.
It's well intended and it could be better, right? There is room for improvement. So if the schools and the Ministry of Education sit down together with the union and say, we see some weaknesses here in the school feeding program and principals are crying out, we want you to fix it and such. But let the record be clear that that is a good program for the government of Grenada in terms of feeding the nation's children.
You hear this, boy? All this bad thing. You started by saying children can't get food and it's going to be bad. Yes? You go deeper in the conversation. You say they don't get in food. But you end by saying, don't you say that? Two-tongue, like wickedness. That is wickedness. This man is wicked.
Most of the times, poor people children to make it equal for everybody.
For MTV News.
This man is wicked. You just stated, you started by saying that the program that was initiated was geared to ensure that if Jane or Judy sit down in this class, they can learn effectively. Listen to him, That's what he started by saying. He's saying it also creates an avenue that parents can say, I don't send my child to school because they don't have lunch money. But now, the ineffectiveness of the government, as you stated, because of the government being ineffective and incompetent by being able to give that check to ensure that Jane or Jenny could eat and learn effectively, is not happening because of government's ineffectiveness. But you come and you end by saying it is a good initiative by government, but it has a problem. So use this stove, is shocking, but put fish in it. Strike a balance now. Strike a balance. And based on what is happening now, Jude, by what government is doing, the program cannot be a good initiative. It is an ineffective program based on what is happening. Say that. Don't sugarcoat it. The program is ineffective because if we are seeing closure to the program and there are parents who now are saying, I cannot send my child to school because the program is bad. My child cannot learn effectively because government is not giving it. How it could be a competent program? You have to beat this boy and them, You have to reach to the point where you need to just bring them in the market square and cut their ass. You talking on two sides of your mouth for what? It involves the people and the children of this nation. That is what it is. It is ineffective. It is causing closure. But it's a very good program. Children can eat, but it's very good. But I waited for him to say that. So let me play my boss now when he said what he said. And all you feel, he's not a prophet, he's a prophet.
And I remember that 2 decisions that were made early told me that the government is going to be in trouble. So one, the choice of cabinet secretary. Someone who were not at a high level in the public service and who were moved from the area of responsibility for things that people knew that was going on. I would say no more on that, but people know. And they were not handling that responsibility and accounting appropriately. So for you to take that person and propel them above all the persons in the public service who were at the higher level and who had given human service in their own area, none of them were perfect, but they certainly deserve to be given a chance. And if you look at my history, when I was Prime Minister, the people that acted as cabinet secretary, they were experienced persons who had no direct relationship with me, politically or otherwise. But I knew they had demonstrated their own commitment to their country.
Finley Jeffrey. So ladies and gentlemen, it is not no biasness. This is not NNP. This is not, and because as I said to you guys, everything NNP say that, NNP fight down, NNP this, NNP. This is not NNP. This is the same Jew that stand up and say always the best thing after sliced bread. This is the same one. I don't think he turned tail yet. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to see what I'm saying to you guys. These men and incompetent misfits that governs this state continue to put a blame on the NNP or attempting to put blames on the NNP. And more, they are failing. Let me tell you, they don't have more chum cat, They don't have more cat to play. So what they're trying to throw now is confettis and fireworks. I said that thing, even if they go somewhere and somebody fall and they say, you know what's passing down there and I fall, they want to run there and see if they could pick up the gravels that throw them down. That is the point they reach. That is the point they reach. They come with the hotel thing, not the hotel, no, but the hospital thing. Grenadians will gravitate to it. Realize? They come with a 3-year thing and they want to have town hall meetings. Grenadians will gravitate to that. There was no wow to that. Because these things are not putting money in the pockets of the poor people. I had to remind myself in a conversation the other day. NNP did 3 types of work during the road cleaning processes. They were debushing, they were overhang, and they were draining. Remember the Prime Minister recently saying, oh, they just cut in a few bush by the side of the road. Yeah? So that person's vehicle don't scrape. There is a grass cutting vehicle in Grenada now. That is in your days. That is because of your ineffective leadership. Razor grass is hard now to cut vehicle. Razor grass thick like sugar cane. But back in the new National Party's era, Bush didn't so hard to cut vehicle and Mac vehicle. It wasn't that hard. I see Grenlec now have a program going around where they're asking persons a vegetation process, where they're asking persons to cut overhangings. The NNP administration in the travel process had that as part of the program. So you're going to give your name for debushing, you're going to give your name for drainage, you're going to give your name for overhang. Persons were going over, once things are coming and encroaching over the roads, you're cutting those things. Ladies and gentlemen, take a drive around Grenada. See those areas. Water crystals in drains where we clean, as old people used to say, spick and span. Look at it. Razor grass cutting vehicle now. Before, by the time a little rain fall and the bush shoot up, poor people could have put their pot on the fire, knowing that they're going to get a little travel work, $400, $500 coming in the house by this and mountain, or next few days or weeks, 10 days. So let's say in about a week time, 2 weeks. Poor people could have put a pot on the fire. Some people were so lucky that they get in the bush, they get in draining, they get overhang. You come and you tell the Grenadian people now, oh, field cutting bush is just to make what? Vehicles don't cut. But you're talking about a beautifying of Grenada and rejuvenation and transformation. Transformation with all that bush. Certain areas in Grenada you could flee Anaconda by the side of the road. Jumanji. You could flee it in some areas in Grenada right now. Fossier High Woods. Ladies and gentlemen, these things are needed. Everybody can be a doctor. Everybody cannot wear jacket and tie and look good. At the end of the day, you need sanitation workers. You go in the bigger countries and you see them. You see them. And they are effective. You want to increase a little money, fine. Tell a man, oh, you want to give me a program now where you work in 8 to 4. The program was generated in a way that even the poor man had the opportunity to get a little pankwai twice per day. And we know how we grew up, for those of us on the live. Mommy could at least go and cut a little thing before she go in the pool. Dada could have do a little walk before he go up in the land. My man could have go and cut a little bush before he go and see if he catch a few jacks on the bay. Or you could have do a little walk and then fall across by Miss Jenny and cut she yard and earn a little money by the end of the day. This was the effectiveness of governance to help poor people get by. But now you're making shoppiness about, oh, cutting bush, yeah, just cutting bush, so vehicles, a few vehicles won't cut. That wasn't the effectiveness of it. They were draining during hurricane season. Draining was being done, overhanging. Ask Grand Lake workers that have been there for years. No, you hear Grand Lake have an ad where they're asking persons to call people to come and trim. Go and watch some of the areas where trees are encroaching over the road and the water is falling and giving the road a bad look because the lally or whatever is settling there. They're asking you that. You all are putting Grenadians on the back foot. And at the end of the day, when an MP open their mouth, oh, they just want to come in power. Well, I'm glad we hushing now, you know. I'm glad we hushing. Look at it for the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks. How many times have you seen a Dr. Mitchell or a Dr. Clarice or Honorable Emlyn Pear? How many times you have seen us talking about them? We don't talk about them. Let them fall on their own weight now. Let them fight. I hear they fighting in cabinet and they cussing each other in cabinet. Let them kill each other now. Remember in 2008, one of the very first words my father tell me, that is an NDC that is going to self-destruct in 2008. And I could say today, that is an NDC that will self-destruct. See, anytime family members day and everything they hiding, you hearing the husband beating a whole night, you know. But tomorrow they come outside holding hand. You go get vexed one day and go. You could hide to buy land, but you can't hide to walk it. We go know it's yours. So all the hide, all you hide, all the other years and thing now, all of a sudden now, they want to do an audit. We're not getting that one tomorrow because I realize I gone to the park. You want to do an audit now? I'll touch on it briefly. I feel I have a little time. Sorry, I have a little time. So the Finance Minister, Dennis Cornwall, I want to put it out there, warning to persons who have collected government's money and did not do what they should do with it. So when we were saying that we are not seeing work being done, we weren't lying. Look at it in front of us now. The Minister of Finance is saying it. So all the time NNP that don't like NDC. The Minister of Finance is saying persons eating money and they frolicking and work is not being done. We said it. NNP said it. We said it and we program, we post it thing, all you run under it and all you castigate them, man. When we say persons just eating money and nothing is being done. The Finance Minister. The finance minister, and let me quote again, the finance minister, Dennis Cornwall, I want to put out a warning to persons who have collected government money and did nothing, do what they should do with it, or you used it for other purpose and so on. We will have the audit department audit those things. We will have the necessary steps taken to make sure you give account or an account for monies that were given. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is factual when we said it that persons were eating money and doing government work. Before they talk about, oh, NNP giving their friends project to do, the work was being done. All the NNP we give work to do and with NNP friend. Go, the drain we tell them to build, the drain is built. The road we tell them fix, it is fixed. The house we tell them to fix, it is fixed. The bathroom and toilet, it is fixed. The renovating of the schools is done. All the friends we give the work. We get the work done. Now, look come and talk about how they want to get audit involved. He say a person shall not obstruct, and that is based on section 26 of the Audit Act. A person shall not obstruct, provide false or misleading information. And mind you, careful when you're doing this audit. You might see the name AW come up about 50 times. Careful. Let us know when you do the audit. Let we know the names. Because you might see a lot of check with AW. Don't want to call nobody name. So when you're auditing, audit good. Let us know whose name that show up in different areas. Are you hearing me? Yeah? So when you're auditing, my dear brother, audit good. Let us know all who was part of the auditing that audited the auditor, who told the auditing to give what auditation that they were received. Yeah? Don't ask me to repeat that. I go big school. So please, let us know all that is happening. But ladies and gentlemen, today's takeaway, two things: consultation and reputation of what was said by the NNP, by other people, not NNP. Not NNP. Think about it yourself. Go on my page. Go on our pages. See when last NNP posted anything. Eh? If you go on my page, we congratulate the last thing we and which we don't. Watch out. We're so on the ground. Yeah? The last time we have a video posted with the political leader was talking to some children. Sister Kate was talking to some kids. We have Dr. Moses sharing out thing. We have brother Nimrod building house. We have brother Dabrio watching buildings and talking to people in certain areas. We have Sister Nolin talking to people walking through track. Eh? I mean, we don't study them people. If you look at brother Cox in Karaku, he there on the site with people ponging nail. We don't study people. The NNP, but now they just opening office. And he have a little tell a lie, because I understand the office up by so, number 10 name no day on it. Yeah? So I only hear see. I don't give it that as concrete. Yeah? I hear. She maybe have to ask for the key borrow. she might have to ask for the key borrow. And if you're a watchman and the watchman don't make her out in the night, she might get a lash of wood in her neck if they don't make her out too early, because she's not supposed to be there. Yeah? Alright. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to do this before I end today's programming. Based on Facebook, and for those of us who's acquainted with pages, what happens a certain time when you become a regular person to the page, yeah, you would notice that YouTube would recognize those persons, yeah. So today YouTube would have indicated to me a few of the persons who are actually in the number 1, number 2, number 3 position. That is the only positions they give. 1, 2, and 3. Yes? Right? So, Janice Mitchell. Janice Mitchell is actually a number 1 fan on the channel. Agnes and Agnes Henry, Teresa Joseph, they are in position 3. Yes. Charmaine Rambasing is in number 1 follower. Yes. And I don't know if you guys are seeing it, but I can see it. Yes. We have Moko Joseph, we have Gloria Bonaparte. Also in the number 2 position, we have Michelle Alexander in number 3 position. Edmond Kellis, Sky. Well, Edmond Kellis is in position 2. He's a number 2 follower. Sky is a number 3 follower. Edmond Kellis, I mentioned that already. He's in a number 2 position. Who else? Marlon Ferguson is in a number 1 position. And who else? Well, I did call Moko Joseph already. Right? So I just want to thank you guys so much for, following the page and being top fans on the page. Ladies and gentlemen, you can give them a round of applause for being avid listeners and followers. So both parties, all who I named, this is 1, 2, and 3. I don't know if you guys are seeing it. I'm unsure whether or not you guys are in the comment section and are seeing it, or only I'm the one seeing it. But I just want to say, somebody either has called me, or I wonder if that person wants to get on to the program. I'm seeing a missed call from someone. I don't know if I should take them on air. I don't know. I'm wondering what I should do. I don't know if the person was trying to get me personally. So let's go to try.
Yes, I was trying to get on the program, but I realized your time is up, so
No, you can.
so maybe we'll do that tomorrow.
No, definitely. If you're here already, if you want to make a contribution, you definitely can do so. A pleasant good evening. Hello, are you there?
The program, but I realized your person. So let's do it tomorrow.
Oh, so we'll do that tomorrow, right?
What time the program start tomorrow?
The program starts at 6.
I was trying to get on the program. I realized your time is up, so
You listen
so
to me.
maybe we'll do that tomorrow.
So at 6 p.m.
If you want to make a contribution, you definitely can do so.
All right. So he wanted to make a contribution to the program, and that's what I'm saying. I need you guys to get a little bit more interactive with me. Yeah? Let's have a conversation. Yes, so feel free to do that. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for being part of another wonderful session here this evening. Nowadays I'm going way over my time. I'm encroaching. Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, as I said, it is definitely a pleasure. It is always a pleasure, that is, to be here with you guys and be a part of the program. Your contribution is important. Let me say this. And no one is perfect. I may not get it right all the time, but I am subjected to correction. If I said something on the program that is incorrect, or you may want to debate, yeah, feel free to do so, as long as we don't get insultive, as long as we don't get obscene or threatening or be defamative on each other's character. And that is, just normal rules of the state. Yeah, you don't want to do that, and then somebody say, well, lock him up or lock she up or them kind of thing, and them day. Right? So as long as we respect each other and we can share that opinion, and most persons be in the comment section, block him, block her. That is not my thing. Yeah, you're here, and there might be something that is said. I am here to win supporters. I'm not to get rid of supporters. Not because you're in the sea and you come and you say something, I'm supposed to just castigate you and get rid of you. I want your vote at making you understand what I'm saying, so you would be on the same path with me. Yeah, that's my job. Yeah, so it should be convincing. It should be truthful. Yeah, it should be factual. And I can attest, and I believe to myself, ladies and gentlemen, I am one of the persons who go as hard as I can in terms of information. Yeah, I go as hard as I can. Clips, readings, documents, sections of laws, whatever it is, definition, I get that in to ensure that you guys get factual information. Yeah? So once that is being done and you guys can, understand what I'm saying, and you can learn from me and I can learn from you, it is definitely always a pleasure. Yeah? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. We're going to be back here again tomorrow. I want to extend a happy belated birthday to my daddy who celebrated yesterday. We had a wonderful, wonderful day yesterday. So happy belated birthday again, Dad. It was definitely a pleasure, and it's always a pleasure to spend time with my father. Yes, he's the greatest hero in my life. Yeah, and I can see that on a mountaintop. Yes, may God continue to be with you. May God continue to guide and protect you. I love you 100%. You have yourself a wonderful evening, and to the rest of the class, you guys can have yourself a wonderful one. To my stepmom and my sisters, my brothers, all of you guys, I want to say thank you very much for continuing to support, continuing to show the love. And I'm not just saying it, YouTube is showing you guys the love. Yeah, you guys are doing a fantastic job, and YouTube is showing that. Yeah, one love to each and every one of you guys. Let's continue to do the works so that we can be re-elected and again be strong supporters and lovers of good leadership within Grenada Carrick-on Department. That being said, have yourself a wonderful evening. God's blessings, and we shall see again tomorrow.
Living in dark, you say you go bring illumination back, and when for some it was blood and tears, you presented yourself as the heart who cares. So with faith they wait till it was too late, and with the ex they give the heart the blessing. But now some people fall, that it seems as though the heart stopped beating. Some people believe that or you didn't have a heart from the start, but these people they do not understand that in fact the man on the hill in St. Patrick's know that. He said, man, you refuse to give the contract, but when all your campaign was in action, he yellow up the whole junction, and that the green he couldn't get a hold on. The yellowness was too vibrant and too strong, protecting as they drag him in the dust. Now all you come it is even worse. Oh, what about the old queen in the back of St. Andrews? She used to buzz out the wind, now she feels she lose. She house used to fool her yellow ancestries. People used to say she have yellow disease. Now you take she pension and water, cause she have some sun in Canada. Now when the mountain fall, she go in by the post office as usual, cause she don't want green people know she ain't getting that money no more. Are you ready about? Oh, oh, now she is disappointed in you. Hey, hey, she feels shame and I'm angry too. All you have to fix up things like that, otherwise the stay will be short, cause all you really have heart. Now you touted yourself as the heart of gold, and such a heart could never seem cold. So don't mind how you try to justify. It is cold to pay fat when a loved one die. Now the poor people who put the X for you are wondering where the hell the heart went. They find in recent time that they go into misery and torment. The cost of some sun is that ridiculous in this land. That is why some people feel sure if you had a heart, it is so dumb. Just do his best, better bound to come. Now he cannot see what better about your program. Plus you pretending you did promise him 1,000. So in you he lose all his faith and trust. If he got bloods and crips can be worse. Oh, what about the brother who won't dance with CCC? To be laugh you tear for his family. When you sing change he dance to your rhythm, never knowing that move would affect him. Soon as you come you take that decision and send CCC back where they come from. Now he's on the breadline, his family's future is in decline. Now he wonders why was I so sad. Look how I go and vote out me walk. Well, some days he feels like giving up. He cannot put food in his family pot. No, it is the little things like that that does make people say Jonah coming back, because all you really have had. Hey, hey. No, we know for a fact times are not too kind. The country has no financial spine. But now is the time your heart should show. You can just sit and blame the ones before. Cause it is you, people, and just to get them through and to give them hope in these hard times we're facing. So when the bug hurt them, they can stand to hear you can do nothing. These people lose a lot. Meanwhile the bug more getting more fat. But you say they can get their money back. They feel it's heartless to tell them that. But I know the little we FM reporter know this. We're trying to be a true journalist. Her question was not out of place or where, but you nearly eat out she had. During your 10 years the opposition, you used to condemn the very same action. So it seems like wrong is only wrong based on the side of the fence you run. Oh, what about the pan man struggling from year to year? Who felt finally somebody would care? Lord knows the way he sacrificed greatly, practicing the whole night like a zombie. Finally he win a little money, a whole year pass and you never pay. And the Calypsonian, oh how he felt you would understand, and would give support to his album. Instead you watered down his subvention. Now he knows you were up to no good. When you told him you would be better than Brenda Hood. If you do not want to stop and backtrack,